Well, now all the Ford takeover stuff's done. We got some decisions to make here on the car. I've been racing a lot lately. We're going to address that coolant leak that I've been talking about. Not really a leak. Like I said, I think we lifted the head on the dyno that one day. And while it runs relatively good at lower boosts, once I get up into the higher boost, that's kind of when I really notice it. And so, I don't know if you can tell. You can't really tell. So you can't really tell, but I put water in here the other day. All I really did was started the car, loaded it on the trailer, started it back up, took it off the trailer, and the level's already going down. So, and honestly, that might have actually been what contributed to our O2 sensor going bad. So while it may seem like a pain to take the heads off, one, I think it needs to be done because if it is really leaking, I'd rather really not hurt the engine. And then two, I've been wanting to do a set of hydraulic roller lifters that'll turn a little higher RPM, because these are just the like OE stock style ones. They're not like anything crazy. So right around 55, 5600, they pretty much die off. Also, we're going to do a set of valve springs, and while I'm in there, I might just go full in and do a cam swap too. I want to get a cam that's a little bit better in the upper RPM range, but we'll see. It's all dependent upon what is back ordered, what I can get, and then obviously the cost of everything too, which that kind of matters first and foremost. I only filled it with water, so we can just open up the instead of having to catch all the antifreeze and whatnot, I can just pull this bottom hose off and we're just dumping water on the floor. As you can see, this stuff kind of flies off fairly easily. I mean, I've had this engine in and out so many times. Thankfully, I'm not taking the engine out. We're just doing the top end. So, I mean, I've really only been working for about a half hour or so. Got pretty much, you know, the whole upper off. I just need to take off the exhaust. I got to take off the crossover pipe, both manifolds. The turbo is going to stay connected to that manifold. I'll just disconnect this charge pipe. And then, you know, upper intake, some ground straps, and we'll be on our way. It's always fun taking apart stuff because then you find other stuff that's wrong. Like this bolt that's entirely loose that's holding the turbo down. I'm sure we had some sort of exhaust leak there. Well, that's gonna be it for tonight. I ran out of daylight, so we'll pick it back up in the morning. So after some investigative work, I noticed we got 2 exhaust leaks. One was right here at the turbo housing, and the other one right here at the manifold, to go along with the turbo itself, the one bolt that's slightly loose. So another thing I'm gonna end up doing, if you heard me talk about it, so this hose clamp right here that holds on this this drain for the turbo, it's really tight when you're putting the turbo on, and if you have the On 3 kit, you'll know what I'm talking about. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I have some extra dash 10 lines. I'm gonna put a dash 10 fitting on this right here, and then I'll have a dash 10 that screws into this, and then it'll go. I'll still keep the bottom as a clamp on, that'll be okay, because I got enough room there and I don't feel like taking that plug out. But for up here, it'll be a dash 10 that'll give us a little more, because it's really this right here. I mean, I could cut it off, but there's just a better way. Now, something I don't know if a lot of people do, or if nobody does, or if it's just me, but somewhere along my life, someone told me to de-torque an intake manifold before taking it off. Mainly because most of them are aluminum, and then there's a sequence to torquing it plus steps to torque it down. So I basically just follow that sequence in de-torquing it. So I basically loosen up a little bit in sequence each bolt, and you can just Google the torque sequences there until they pretty much all come loose, and then I take them all out. So we did a little investigative work here, and I'm pretty sure you guys can see that one of these is not like the other. This is with the head gasket off. And if you see that right there, right, and then so looking at the gasket, you can see they all pretty much had really solid seals. This one right here, I don't know if you can see that discoloration. So yeah, you can see the discoloration right there. So basically what was happening was, and this goes to a water passage, so it didn't blow out the head gasket, but like I said, I think we lifted the head, lifted it a little bit, and then we were pushing boost up through here into the water jacket. So like I said, I had felt that it was on this side for the whole entire time, and this just proves it right here. This is 100% the cause of that. And luckily, we could have still ran it. I would have still ran it at Ford Takeover. Pretty sure it would have been fine. It would have just blew out the head gasket entirely at some point. But I mean, while we got some time, might as well. And so now, while the head's off, I'm going to get a set of better head gaskets. Like I said, we're going to do ARP head studs. Also, I'm going to do a set of lifters. These are just the stock style OE lifters, and they'll still be stock style OE, but they'll be the ones that allow you to rev higher. So these are just basically stock Ford OE lifters. So as much as it kind of is rough to see that, I'm actually happy that I did find it. This is a very small, simple fix. So I'm going to finish cleaning this up, order this stuff, and then we'll go ahead and take the other side off. Pretty sure that side's fine, but we'll go ahead and investigate it really quick. And then we'll get it all cleaned up and ready to get put back together. So this side, pretty much nothing wrong with it. let's take a look at the head gaskets from both sides. This way you guys can see you know, them side by side and where the issue is. All right, so if you look at all the water jackets on this one, you can see the clear distinction between, you know, you can basically see that it's sealed off completely, you know, and not really intruding on the cylinders at all. Whereas on this one, right, once we get to this one right here, see how it's not sealed off? And that one is, that one's not. You can see right there. That one is, that one is, the rest of them are sealed off. And so what happened was, on what I'm assuming, because I felt like it happened around that 22 psi pull on the dyno, was that we lifted the bottom of the head up, and all it did was just shoot, you know, basically push some compression out into this water jacket. So it might have sealed itself back up at some point, or at least got it close enough to where, you know, I wasn't noticing it, or at least was able to go down the track. But we were definitely losing a little bit there. You know, when I noticed it, after the last pass on Thursday when I was out at the track, there was some water underneath the front of the engine. So I kind of felt like, you know, it was happening. So regardless though, not a big deal. Like I said, we're going to be upgrading our lifters. We're going to get everything all cleaned up. We're going to do valve springs, and then probably, because these say they're good up to a 575 lift, but I feel like they're a little weak. So we're going to do valve springs, we're going to do lifters. I might see if we can get the heads ported. We'll see. But other than that, I mean, the engine's been running good. You know, we've been making better times each time. So we're going to get this fixed, and then we're going to go, then we'll, you know, slap it back together. I would like to make the switch to E85. I'm going to look more into that. So that might be coming here in the very near, well, that might be coming here also, because I figure while everything's off, you know, all I really need to do is run a dash 10 and a dash 8 fuel line, which is super easy to do. The pump and the injectors, I might be a little under injected, but I guess we'll see how that goes. But I'm thinking about it, so we'll see. We'll have that decision here, you know, in the next few weeks. Talked to the guys about the 454 for the C10. They've said they're supposed to get to it this week. I don't know. They do this every now and again. I mean, they're a good machine shop, but they drag their feet. I don't know if they got busy or what, but you know, not a huge deal. Like I said, I'm kind of slow rolling at that, so yeah, we're just waiting on that. So that's really it for this one. We got some decisions to make. We'll go over what I end up deciding. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.